Welcome everybody. This will be part 2 on this beautiful 1955 CJ-5. In this video I'm going to replace some of the light bulbs, fix some wiring issues that we have, wire up the heater, see if we can fix the alternator, and then I've got one surprise for you at the very end. So what I did was I just removed the old one, got it up on the workbench and did a bench test on it. So I believe the wiring on the old one was all correct. I just think there was something wrong with it. So we switched it out with a new unit, just a basic standard GM type 1-wire alternator. And I've already got it installed. I also have a new fan belt on there. I went with a 41-inch belt, and that seems to be pretty good length. I could have gone with a 42, I think. Either one would have worked. The previous owner gave me a list of things to check that they had written down. One of them was the fan belt. And I didn't understand why until I got it off. I cut it in half. It wasn't broken. I cut it in half so I could measure it, but you can see how cracked she is. So anyway, I got a new one of those on there. I'm gonna go get my multimeter. We'll start up the Jeep, and fingers crossed we'll get some charge to the battery now. Fan belt looks good too. So excellent progress so far. Now what I want to do is hook up the wiring for the heater, because it is already plumbed. We've already got heater hoses connected to the engine. So I think we just need to connect the heater to switched power maybe, and it should work. So this is a heater knob right here. You can see nothing's happening, whether the key is on accessory or run or off, nothing happens. So if we look at it from this angle, it looks like there is a wire connected from the switch to the heater, but we have no power wire connected to the other side of the switch. So we need to find a power wire to connect to that. So I only want the heater to come on when the key is in the run position. So I'm going to turn the key on the dash to the run position, and we're going to find switched power here. So watch the light in my test bulb. Right now, there's nothing there. Turn the key, that's switched power right there. That's off position, that's accessory. So, let's try this other one. Switched, there it is. Switched power only. Looks like the top right one, if you were looking at it from the front of the vehicle towards the back, the green wire there. All right, we got the switch wired up. First, we're going to try accessory. It should not work in this position. Nothing. The off position should be nothing as well. And 12-volt keyed power should work. Well, my wiring job works. Something is a little off inside there. It's probably not easy to get this cover off, is it? Well, unfortunately, I had to remove the entire heater from the vehicle because I could not figure out that noise, and I still haven't figured it out. The only thing I've determined is it's not coming from the fan blade. At first, I thought the fan blade might be hitting part of the housing. I think it has more to do with the end play in this fan hub itself. All right, if you look at the lip of the base of the hub, and I spin it around, you can see it's not true. And the whole thing goes in and out just a little bit like this. So when I spin it here on the bench, there's no noise, but when it spins at full speed, the fan gets pressed back like that. And there's one tiny little part in here. Can you hear that? That just barely rubs now. I used a screwdriver down in there and I bent the rim of the hub a little bit where it's too close. And I put a little bit of grease in there. So we're gonna call that good. I'm gonna go get this installed and we'll give it another try. Well, that was kind of a hassle having to take the heater out, but I think I got it fixed. So I ran the fan for a while and then reached up here and touched the bottom of the switch and it was super hot. Given the fact that the fan was really spinning fast and making a lot of noise and pushing a lot of air and the switch was hot, I'm wondering if the heater may have been 6-volt or the switch, one or the other, or maybe both. But you can see up in there I installed a ballast resistor on the firewall. There was a hole there already, so I didn't hurt anything and just bolted it to the firewall. Connected the fan wire to one side and the other side came out to the switch. Now we're getting a slower speed with the fan and the switch isn't getting hot. So let me show you. Key on, fan on. So that's basically full blast right there. And it's still actually spinning pretty quickly and pushing a lot of air. But it sounds so much better. And we have more adjustability on the knob here. This is all the way down to low. And it's still moving air. And then back up to high. And the switch isn't getting smoking hot anymore. So now we're on to the lights. If you remember from the first video, there were a couple of the bulbs that weren't working and the left turn signals weren't working on the vehicle. So I ended up with about 15 minutes worth of video time of me changing light bulbs, chasing down wire connections, fixing things here and there. It was pretty boring stuff, so I'll just capture the highlights for you here. I ended up replacing 3 of the light bulbs, the 2 running lights in front and the one on the driver's side in the back. The driver's front running light actually had the wrong bulb installed. I took it out and found it was a single filament bulb, and in fact it needs to be a dual filament bulb. Underneath the dash, I found one completely disconnected wire and another one that was just barely connected. In fact, it came out when I touched it. So those two disconnected wires solved all the problems in the back. Then I replaced the passenger side headlight in the front, and then that started working again, both low and high beams. But I still had the issue with the front left blinker wasn't working. So I dug around some more under the dash, and long story short, the blinker wire in the front was connected to the wrong wire. Then if you remember, the lights in the 3 gauges weren't working right. They were coming on with the headlight switch in the running light position in the first detent, and then they were going off when you pulled the headlights on all the way into the second detent position. Wire from the 3 gauges was just connected to the wrong wire under the dash. So I figured out where it needed to be, hooked it up, and everything works right again. So now I'll just give you a quick demonstration and show you that all the lights actually work. First we'll go with running lights and tail lights. Both running lights. Both tail lights and all the gauge lights. Now we'll go with right blinker. Right blinker in the front works. I can tell from here that the right blinker in the rear is working. Left blinker. And I can also see the rear is working. Now headlights. Those are low beams. Those are high beams. And we even get a high beam indicator on the speedometer. That blue light right there. So go back to lows. It shuts off. Turn the lights off. Everything goes off. Now that we've got all the lights working, we can tuck these wires away. As you can see, there's several hanging down from underneath the dash here and there. And this shouldn't take too long to tidy these up. So I will do that off camera and be right back with you. Well, I think that was 15 minutes well spent. It really cleaned up the entire look of the front area of the cab. All right, here's the surprise I promised you at the beginning of the video. This is the glove box door that we got in the parts with the new Jeep, but it does not have a latch. Other than that, it's complete. It's got hinges painted on the inside and outside. It looks very nice, but you have to have the latch or else it won't stay closed. So I thought, well, no big deal. I'll just order a new latch from the part suppliers, and quickly found out that they are not available. Let me show you what they look like here. They are keyed, but it's just a simple button. And this one works. You can see the latch come in and out. So I went on eBay, saw this door for sale with a functioning latch. I think it was 40 bucks, something like that. And I went ahead and bought it. And I am very excited because now we have a functioning latch that we can switch from this door to this door. At the very worst, I'll be able to transfer this over and have the door work and have the, the latch work, and we won't be able to use the key. We won't be able to lock it. And in the very best, we can maybe figure out a key that fits it and maybe have one made. So I've had this set of just generic, different shaped blank keys for a while. I got it off of Amazon maybe a couple years ago. And I've used it for one or two things since then. Sometimes you get lucky with things like this and sometimes you don't. If I can find one of these keys that works in the latch, then I can take this to a hardware store and have them cut me a new key, and then we'll have a locking latch. And if none of these keys work, then we'll have a functioning latch that you just simply cannot lock. So I'm going to do this with you. We're going to go through every key here and see if any of these will work. That one went in all the way. but it didn't want to. Still not quite right. Oh, that one goes in all the way. Ooh, I thought that one was going to work. Not quite. Well, that was worth a try, but no luck there. And look at that. That door used to be green. Probably the original color for whatever Jeep this came off of. Looks to be in pretty darn good condition. I'm going to spray the latch black, and then we're going to polish up this button because it looks like there's silver underneath there. I think that would look much nicer. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I would like you Jeep experts out there to tell me what these two acorn nuts are for. They have them on both of the doors, and there's nothing on the front. That must have served some type of a purpose, or else they wouldn't have done that. But if anybody knows what those are for, please leave a comment. I would be curious to find out. I'm going to take my trusty fiber Dremel bit here. Now we're going to take a little polish. So that probably took 5 minutes total, starting with that fiber brush and then polishing it after that. And it almost looks like brand new on the top now. So let's put a little grease down in there. Get her nice and happy. All right, see how it looks on our pretty door here. Oh, look at that. That looks fantastic. So I've got the door hinges mounted, and comes up and it looks fantastic, and the button works. But a couple things are going on here. First of all, we need a couple rubber nipples so the door itself doesn't come into contact and vibrate against the dash, because that'll just scratch up the paint. And number two, the latch ain't latching. There are two screw holes either side of the centerpiece here, one there and one there. And it looks to me like there's supposed to be a striker plate mounted there, which would catch the latch. And of course we don't have that striker plate. So I'm going to make my own. I'm going to measure those two holes on center, and we're going to install just a flat piece of steel stock or aluminum stock right there. And hopefully that will be sufficient to catch the latch. All right, after about 20 minutes worth of work, here's my homemade striker plate. I found a piece of stainless in my scrap metal bucket, and let's see if this is going to work. All right, here we go. Haha, check that out. I don't have any rubber nipples, so we'll have to go to the store for those. But in the meantime, we can get the actual glove box itself installed and have everything be functional. So the glove box goes in with this notch on top. That's where the latch goes. Need to trim just a little bit right there. But this is plastic, so that shouldn't be an issue. Let's go do that. All right, I've got it trimmed, and I'm gonna put it up into place. Oh yeah, it fits nice now. Can you see that? So we've got 2 screws on top, 2 screws on the bottom, and 1 on each side. Well, this upper lip here of the box, if I just push this and force it above the upper lip, which I think is where it's supposed to go, well, yeah, it still needs to be notched for the striker plate, so that's good. The holes are not pre-drilled in the glove box, so I'm going to try to mark them with a white paint pen. There's our marks. Looks like we got good marks all the way around. Alright guys, check this out. Nice, clean looking installation, I think. Alright, I'm very happy with that. Now, let's go find some rubber nipples. I'm back from the hardware store. It's funny, I wasn't even sure that they would have these little bumper things, but they had a whole drawer of them. It was True Value. I guess we'll try the medium-sized ones first. I don't know if I can get that through that hole. I might need a little poker tool, but let's see. That actually feels pretty good. Let me get a poker tool to see if I can get that poked in all the way. All right, I got it in all the way. So I ended up going with the medium one on the left as well. I think these are going to work perfectly. Watch this. It's snug against the bumpers, but not too snug. I just push the button. So it doesn't make contact with the dash anywhere because of the bumpers. Nice and snug, but you can still get it open easily. Wow, that was a lot of work for a glove box, but I'm very happy with that. And to finish this thing off, we're going to put our license and registration pouch right in there. How cool is that, huh? Very happy with the way this turned out. Done. So in the next video, we'll tackle the clutch pedal adjustment and the brakes, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching, everybody. Check out antiquecarsandstuff.com. And yeah, I think we're making really good progress on this CJ-5 so far. Please consider subscribing if you have not already, and I hope to see you guys on the next video.